I'm Rob Licuria at Gold Derby here with Rosalind Eleazar, star of Slow Horses. Rosalind, we were talking offline about how much I love this show. And I'm just wondering, what do you think the appeal of Slow Horses is? Because it keeps getting popular every season, just gets better and bigger and better and bigger. Why? Why do you think audiences love it so much?
I think it's got to do with the tone of Slow Horses. You know, I think any successful show that we've seen has sort of brought about a new genre that we haven't witnessed before, like, I don't know, Succession or The Bear or things like that. And I think Slow Horses has done something similar in that it's such a unique tone that you haven't really seen anything like it before. You know, it's a comedy, but it's a drama. It doesn't fall into the comedy. It doesn't fall into the drama. So it's sort of created a new genre, I think. And obviously, we have lots of spy shows. You know that audiences love spy shows. It's been done time and time again, but this offers something different. And I also think it's to do with the characters. Like, the characters are all misfits. They aren't immediately likable characters. It takes time. It
So,
takes time.
yeah.
Huh?
I loved them from the beginning, to be completely honest. But like, I'm sure some people like it takes time to like, who are these losers? They're not losers at all. They're there for a very good reason. That's my opinion. But
Yeah,
yeah, I hear you. I get what you're saying. It's different. It's subversive. It's unusual. It's like taking the spy genre in a new direction. And who doesn't? Who wouldn't love that?
yeah, exactly. And I think that we get to see all the characters are sort of developing, and in each season we get to see more and more of the reasons why they're so objectionable. You know,
Yeah.
like it's only sometimes until season 3 or 4 you go, oh, I sort of get why they are like that. And I love that the show is just not ashamed of being really brash. Like, all the characters are just in your face, big, fuck yous.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I'm just wondering, when you are returning to set for another go around. I know I think you guys just finished doing season 5. What's that like? Is it a fun cast to hang out with? What's the vibe like on set?
Oh my God. It is such a fun cast. And I think that's also, we've all really, really gelled. And I think that's also what audiences are seeing and witnessing. They're seeing the chemistry between us all. But it's like, it's a little family now. And it's such a joy to go to set and work with, and not just the cast, the crew, our directors, because we have a different director for each season, our writers. It's such a collaborative show. I've never worked on a show that is so collaborative. You know, we can bring our ideas. We're constantly fiddling all the time with things, and quite frankly, there are no egos,
That's
which really helps. Which really, really helps.
That's rare. That's rare
Yeah.
and good. Full disclosure, I really love the Louisa character. There's something about the way that you portray her. It's hard to explain, but I feel really protective of her. And I think it's because she feels like one of the more grounded, competent people at Slough House. And I was just wondering, do you think she sees herself that way, or is she literally just daily survive the chaos of what's unfolding in front of her?
She is one of the more grounded characters, but I do think her internal life is incredibly chaotic, and she's a hard shell, and it takes time for us to see glimpses of her open up. And it
Yeah.
happens in, like, a couple of scenes, and that's one of the things I've absolutely loved doing. There are some characters that are more, you get who they are because they're bigger in a sense, but her, I've had fun teasing her out over the seasons, and we get to know her better more and more. But I think she's a loner. I don't think she has many friends. I think shut herself off to the potential of love or happiness in some way. And sometimes I think her groundedness is actually her protecting herself, and it comes across as someone that is grounded. Do you know what I mean? She sort of goes out in
Yes.
the world with quite a tough mask on. Don't mess with me. Don't come near me. And that can give off a quality of someone that is maybe a bit earthy, but actually, I think inside, in some way, she's a little bit of a child. In season 3, I don't know if you remember this scene, but there's a scene with Louisa and River in the car, and he's sort of probing her to say, do you need to go speak to someone about Min? And she's
Yeah.
like, no, I don't need to go speak to anyone about Min. And she reacts by attacking him, and it's such a childish way of responding. And to me, that was one of the key scenes of seeing the inner side of her, where she doesn't know how to emotionally regulate. She just goes hell for leather when someone tries, to help her. Yeah, so I think I've loved those few moments that you get, oh, she's really not okay.
So given that there's this quiet intensity to Louisa, she's sharp, she's composed, but her her inner turmoil is so obvious in your eyes. How do you approach playing that internal complexity without overdoing it or overplaying it?
First, the writing is great, and also I I'm I think as an actor, I have a tendency to. I'm not a massive fan of exploitation of human emotions in a way. I think that people in life tend to hide a lot. That's to me where the pain lies, when you see someone desperately trying to cover up their vulnerability or their insecurities. They're trying to not show it. So I think it's about finding the struggle in trying to keep her mask, rather than an emphasis on her breakdown scenes. I like to think that I've been trying to play with nuance, and it's not, and it feels more real, let's
Yeah.
say.
If you think about it, on an ensemble show, you're not going to be in the spotlight all the time. So you're going to get certain scenes where Louise is going to shine. And I guess we would all have this propensity to want to overdo it to get that spotlight to make it. This is my moment. But on Slow Horses, that just doesn't happen. And obviously, Will Smith's writing, the whole crew and the creative team behind it doing an amazing job. But the actors are really, I feel like you're really conscious of that and making it super realistic. Because when I leave my house, I'm going to mask a little as well. I'm not going to be telling people that I see in my workplace that I had a bad night or whatever. It just doesn't happen. And so the same thing comes to you, and that really helps me relate to her. So I'm
Yeah.
really glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, I think it's also just about. I also think it's about just trusting um, a scene, and the audiences can read so much in just a look. It does, sometimes it doesn't need to be labored. The point has been made. That scene that I'm particularly that I'm talking about in the car, I'm working with Jack, and we work really really well together, and so we feed off each other. We did that a few times, and each take was so different. We ended up in a completely different place. One time we were almost like hitting each other, another time we were fully hugging, and we were allowed to explore those different ways. And then whatever ended up in the edits, that's down to the director and the writer and other and other execs, whatever. But so yeah, it's also being, I think, with your scene partner, and as I said, we've all gelled so well that we go into it very quickly into this space without sounding too woo woo.
Yeah, of
Don't
course.
you know what
All
I
right,
mean?
of course. Like,
I want to stay in peace.
no, like I get it. Like you're not curing cancer, but it's still like this is important for us to understand because that scene you're talking about, I think, perfectly leads into the season premiere of season 4. Sorry, this scene where River and Louisa are in the pub, right? Because it's super insightful about both of them it's really awkward because most of
So
those kind of scenes are like Louisa thinks he's about to ask her out and he's about to tell her about his dad. I mean, I just let out a real good chuckle when that happened. And then it's also really comforting because these two people really care about each other. It's so obvious that you and Jack Loudon have that kind of chemistry. What my question is this: is it meticulously written and blocked that way and then performed, or is it more organic? I guess you've kind of answered it before, where the director allows you both to see where it's going to go.
I would say it's more organic. I definitely think, obviously, the writing takes you to a certain place, but there are many times that me and Jack throw things in. That scene was another example of it. It was very, very different every time. God, it's so cringe, that scene. I can barely watch it. I'm like, oh
Oh
my
my
God, it's so embarrassing. I'm like, Louisa, dude, he's not asking you
God.
out to think about his grandfather. Oh my God, how did she misread the? Well, that's another for another season.
Because
But
because she's not thinking clearly. She's still grieving over Min and she's got a lot going on and she's got
yeah,
this very attractive co-worker that she cares about being really sick. Of course she's gonna think that. Of course. Give
yeah,
it some credit.
and also who knows on a subconscious level. I don't think either one of them are consciously at that point in the storyline are thinking that there could be something between them. Subconsciously, is there something? I don't know. I don't know. We're yet to see. We're yet to
I
see.
think so.
We have to watch more episodes, more seasons to know where that goes or not go. It's so playful between me and Jack. It's just so it's so playful, and we're so happy when we get to do scenes together because it's so exciting because we don't know where we're going to go. Yeah, and obviously we get notes, maybe this is, da, 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 but on the whole, we're sort of left alone to go find our way.
I wondered with these kind of characters that I've been following over the years, how they're dealing with traumas from previous seasons, right? So Louise has lost, someone very close to her, Min, and that was like in season two, I think, so midway season two. So she's had some time to process, but I still feel like Louisa is absolutely still suffering with that,
Yeah.
hanging over her constantly. You see it in her interaction with Flight. By the way, Ruth Bradley, you and Ruth Bradley on the screen together, amazing. And you see it when she's in the office. She's walking around. She's really, it's in your body language. I just want you to talk me through how that factors when you're working out how to play her.
You're completely right. And it sort of harks back to what you were saying, well, we were saying earlier about you have these moments where Slow Horses is never going to go into a very deep analysis of grief. That's just not the sort of show it is. So as an actor, you have to find a way to carry it in a subtle way. And thank you for picking up on that. You can sense that. I think she is complete. It's an energy thing. She is suffering, and it feels like a consistent weight on you, and I think that's what she's working with, and also when you don't get help or you're not processing grief, because that's what she's not doing. She's definitely not processing it. She's pushing it to one side. You almost want her to have a big breakdown. You know,
Fucking breakdown. Yeah, I would love to see that.
and then you go, okay, she's actually on the path to healing, because actually when you allow yourself to break down, that's actually a part of healing. And obviously society says that, breaking down is like, oh, don't worry, don't cry, but actually you should, and that's the path to solving some of your issues. But she's not doing it. So inside she's just so chaotic. Her inner life is just, and so she comes out punching in the office scenes. She's attacking because she's not sorting out. She's not, properly giving the time to heal from Min dying. And so it comes, her energy, if you put it this way, if your energy is sitting inside of you that you haven't resolved, it will come out in another way. And it will come out the way that you don't want it to come out, which is offending a bunch of people, attacking people, you name it. If you're in their line of fire, you're going to get it. That's, to me, how we've sort of managed to plot Louisa's grief through season 3 and into season 4. And then in season 5,
Um,
She makes
Tell me
decisions.
everything. Just tell me the whole thing. It's
I'll
no
do
one
the whole
cares.
thing. I'll do that. But she does something that's quite drastic in season 5, and that again is to do is to do with her grief that she's not processing. So yeah, it's a subtle thing. It's a subtle thing. But I'm happy that you can spot that I'm tracking that.